these kids today, do they remember the rivalry? But I think I could tell you, after living in the Lone Star State for over 35 years and having a lot of friends in the great state of Arkansas, I can promise you, we're not going to have a bunch of lads standing around holding hands singing Kumbaya this afternoon. This is Arkansas and Texas, and it's college football.
What's going on, 4th and 5? Josh Throne here with Matt Harris. We're getting defensive today because we lost against Texas. We hate Texas. Matt, you live down in Texas. Did anybody give you those horns up this week? No, you didn't. You didn't come across that. Nobody tried to rub it in.
I kept quiet this weekend. Surrounded by a lot of Aggies more than I am Longhorns, but they know better, right?
Yeah, because you will get defensive. You're right. You might give somebody a bloody nose if they're giving you Longhorns up.
It's the clip for a reason, you know what I mean? I just can't get away from it. Like, let's just leave that alone this week. Good idea. Good idea.
Right. Hey, well, look, tough. It was a tough loss, but this show, I'm gonna first of all, everybody, here's what we're gonna go over today. I want to give you guys a rundown of the show. Obviously, getting defensive with Matt. We're going to be breaking down some of the Texas play, some of the good stuff we did on defense, some of the stuff we could have done even better, and just a couple areas that we should probably tune up. We're going to actually catch up with DJ. He's meeting with Oaklawn to discuss the betting lines and what you guys should be putting your money on this week. We're not encouraging you to bet, but as Matt says, if you want to, you can. But we're not pushing it on anybody. We're going to be, and then we're going to be getting into a little bit of Louisiana Tech and what we need to do to make sure that we don't fumble the bag against those guys this weekend. So you guys stay tuned for the show. We got a lot coming at you here soon. But first and foremost, we want to say thank you to our presenting sponsor, Ortho Arkansas, for making this all possible. If you don't know who Ortho Arkansas is, Matt's got a shoulder injury right now. He might need to pop in Little Rock and see those guys. They've got shoulder doctors, back doctors, neck doctors, knee doctors, everything.
The best doctors in the world.
Seriously, they really do. And I went there in high school. DJ went there in high school. If you were an athlete in Arkansas, if you played for the Razorbacks and you came from Arkansas, Ortho Arkansas was on the sideline of every high school game. They've got some of the best facilities, man. We absolutely love those guys. So orthoarkansas.com if you guys want to check them out. And then our segment sponsor for Getting Defensive is Matt's favorite, Commercial Air. They've got a location up here in Northwest Arkansas. They are your go-to third-generation family-owned business serving Arkansas since 1971. Commercial Air specializes in keeping critical environments like data centers, hospitals, manufacturing plants operational with top-notch industrial cooling system repair, maintenance, and replacement services. With 24/7 availability and a commitment to excellence, Commercial Air is your trusted partner for all things HVAC. And let's face it, Matt, we might need to call Commercial Air to cool us down coming into this weekend because, gosh, we were so close to the win, weren't we? It was crazy.
Yeah, hate to lose those games, man. It's always a rival game, right? Throw the rankings out. The history's there. Been playing since the 1800s, man. I played in a couple of Texas games.
Yesterday wasn't a lot of fun. We watched the video together as an offense and the video together as a defense, so we make sure we pointed out everything. But our guys will come back and we'll practice hard tomorrow, and these young guys will continue to improve. The one thing that you do when you struggle is you don't try to change and keep changing things, because then you never improve. So what we need to do is improve on what we're doing and do it better, do it more precise. The challenge is being able to handle the Texas team. They're very physical, they're very fast, they've got an experienced quarterback. They've been executing at a very efficient rate, I guess you would say. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They don't make a lot of mistakes on defense, and they don't on offense. So it's a great challenge for us to be able to play. We're not going to be able to turn the ball over and win the game. We're not going to be able to give up big plays and win the game. So we've got to focus on doing our job one play at a time.
They're just different. They got that energy. Last time they were in Fayetteville, we told them who we were. So they were ready. I think they were more tuned up. This is a different team that came to the Hill. Was it 2021? We sent them packing. I was at that game. Awesome energy. We were so close to this game being like that game, or being like Tennessee, the more realistic. Our defense played their tails off. no, I'm in real estate. No house is perfect. No team is perfect. Alabama,
Right.
even when you win the national championship, you could go watch that film, and I bet you Nick Saban's tearing down somebody. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we can jump into some plays and see how we can improve here for sure. Jimmy Johnson came and spoke to our team when Houston was there. And he used to say, good is the enemy of great. We're going to see a couple of plays here, Josh, where they're good plays. They just weren't great plays.
Right.
And if you want to beat the number 3 team in the country, the top 10 team like we did in Tennessee, you got to be great. It's a funny shaped ball. The ball's got to bounce your way, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's a metaphor and it's literal. You know what I
Yep.
mean? There's that momentum in a stadium that you can just feel. I mean, it's man, it's something that the players pick up on. And this game had it, but our offense, not to throw those guys on the bus, but let's be real, they never gave us that extra gear to really dive in. And with that being said, I mean, our defense still held them to 20 points total. I think 350 yards total. I mean, Quinn was very accurate. He threw for 2 touchdowns. One was
Right.
a gimmick we're going to see here. But I'm proud of our Hogs. This is a defensive segment. As far as the defensive game goes, tip of the cap to those guys. They put something together. They ran that 3-2-6. They're finding a lot of success in that. And I think they're starting to gel, starting to jive a little bit. You're in the SEC, man. You're playing a top 10, top 5 team every week. So no excuses. Just find a way to be good to great, and
Well,
you'll win this game.
I got to ask you because when I go back to my high school days, which you were in college, I guess you were a freshman my junior
Yeah.
year and college. But even I want to go back to high school. Go back to like when I started really, really paying attention to football with the Razorbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I guess junior high, 13, 14 years old maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Matt
Prime.
Jones was our quarterback. And I remember the Texas game because I remember the iconic photo of Matt Jones. I think
Yep.
he's crossing the end zone
Yep.
with
In
the
Austin.
horns down as he's scoring a touchdown. To
Yeah.
me, like if you had to say who our rival is at Arkansas football, I would say LSU and Texas. Now they may not
Yeah.
say us. I get a lot of hate in the comments from these guys. They may not say us,
I
but you
get
know
it.
what? We they don't like us. We tend to upset them, and the fans just don't want to accept it. But
Right.
when you think about those types of games, what's it like playing Texas? Well, what's the atmosphere like?
Well, see, I played a Big 12 Texas team.
Hmm.
My senior year was the first year that we played A&M in Jerry World, and that atmosphere was rowdy. But it wasn't like anything else, Josh. Not to
Hmm.
downplay Texas. You go to Death Valley at night, game on, man.
Right.
You're not going to see anything against these Texas boys that you weren't going to see against LSU, that you're not going to see in Jordan Hare at Auburn, especially not Tuscaloosa. So, they fit the profile. Texas fits the bill of the SEC. Arkansas played their tail off. I don't think these guys were scared. I don't think they were intimidated in the least bit. You do get hyped up to go play those rival games. Remember, ours was LSU at the end of the year, day after Thanksgiving, Battle of the Boot. Man, it was always a battle, and it was a
Hmm.
rival. They can say whatever they want, but La Tech's not their rival. Arkansas was their rival for a long time,
Right.
and we always got up for that game. And I think these boys got up for this game, and they played. Man, they played really well, Josh. I just you can't win every football game. It's the number 3 team in the country. They responded well. I
Hmm.
think we came out after halftime with some great adjustments. It just was that Michael Jordan quote. It's like, I've never lost a game. I just ran out of time.
Right. Right.
Like, give us another series. Our offense was starting to figure them out a little bit. We put our
Right.
first points on the board with like 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. I mean, our defense had to stay so strong and disciplined uh, for 3 quarters, basically. And it started from, this first play where Hudson Clark dang near picked the ball off.
Right.
This is a good example, Josh. I'll just roll right into it. Of good but not great. And he was in an opportunity to make a great play, get a turnover. Man, that changes things. Let's just take a look at this first play because, man, I like Hudson Clark. I'm a Hudson Clark fan. So down and distance, it's 1st and 10, Josh, and we
Right.
got 11 personnel. So they've got that back in a pistol situation. So the mindset of these defensive players need to be, hey, where is not the play going, but where's the most dangerous player on the field, right? Their offensive wide receivers are all to one side. So I'm one-on-one with Hudson Clark. Hudson Clark better recognize this play may be coming to me, and he does. The quarterback, frankly, misses the throw, in my opinion. So once you roll the tape, the number 2 receiver here to the boundary, the short side of the field, he starts running a deep over route. He's wide open. If he hit him, number 10, he's in the end zone. Instead, he throws it to the deep corner, the deep out, which is the hardest throw to make in football. And those are opportunistic times for an undercut interception, which our boy 1-7 almost did. I mean, he looked super athletic. He just only got one hand on it and didn't get two. And then the guy dang near came down with it and almost scored a touchdown. So, that's an example of why you can't just be good in this league. You got to be great.
Well, hey, I want to point out something here for you. So Ryan Wingo is that Texas wide receiver / running back, whatever he does.
Yes.
That is Ronnie Wingo's little brother, by the way.
No, it's not. I thought.
Yes, it is. Just in case all you Razorback fans out there are. Yep. Ronnie Wingo, running back during the Petrino era, when we had a stable of running backs, was really good running back. Went on and played in the NFL briefly with the Tampa Bay Bucks, but that is Ronnie Wingo's little brother right there.
No.
I was watching the game and I totally forgot that that's who that was, and then it hit me. I was like, oh man, I mean, how many Wingos are there out there anyway?
Yeah, right.
But not to derail what we're talking about right now. I just thought that we needed to note that. But again, when I look back at this play, Hudson Clark always gets knocked when we put him on an island, and here he is making a play. And we talked about this earlier. You said, look, there's a lot of plays that were good plays that could have been great plays. And this is one of them. It's good, so I don't want it to come off like I'm, obviously we would have loved to have a pick there because they go on to score a touchdown the next play. But get back into your breakdown because I want to know really what you see here that we could have done better.
Oh man, this is that stuff that drives coaches wild, right? Is the play call bad or is the execution? And this is execution all day by the players. You can see that the motion really sets this thing up. So offenses use motion like a smoke and mirrors. They want to get the defensive players talking to each other and changing their coverages. And you can see Hudson Clark talking to the safety, and all of a sudden they snap the ball. Are they on the same page? Do I have deep? Do I have short? Their motion worked. But this is it's not technically a sluggo, a slant and go. It's really a bubble screen. It looks like that number 2 receiver on the hash. He's inverted, so he's on the line of scrimmage. It's a fake block, and he just wheels up the field. Should be an easy play because Mitchell, our guy, he's deep safety. We're in that 3-2-6, 3 high look. He's outside high all day. There's no ifs, ands, and ups about it. Got your eyes in the wrong place, man. Don't bite. Do your job. Be disciplined. Another thing, you're in 12 personnel here. Notice they changed the personnel from 11 to 12, meaning they brought on another tight end. 1 back, 2 tights, 12. And look where they are. The tight ends are on one side. So if you're worried about a pass in this situation, right, where do you think it's going? Do you think it's going to the 2 tight end side with their hand on the ground? Or do you think it's going to the wideouts using motion? Right, so if I'm Hudson Clark, if I'm Mitchell back there, even if I'm the outside linebacker that's got his eyes, because he's that 6 safety or 6 DB, I'm like, hey guys, pass is coming over here. The pass is coming this way. If they throw it a little tight end screen, who cares? We're going to tackle those guys in 2 yards. They're slow. We're worried about what's right here in front of us. And the fact that they were able to pull this play off, it's early in the game. They're nervous. Mitchell, his eyes just simply weren't in the right spot. He had deep all day. He got too excited. He thought the screen was coming. This is the play that Texas drew up, right?
Right.
Sark is a good play caller. He says, hey, safety, quarterback, your cue is that safety. If you pump fake that screen and that safety bites for a second, you got him.
Over the top. Boom.
That was their cue the whole time. I promise you that play would have been a busted play if Mitchell would have just stayed flat-footed.
Coming off of what our boy Hudson Clark did, going into this play right after that to give up the touchdown,
that's tough.
It just pissed me off because, as DJ said, we're playing with these guys. In his previous video that he just posted earlier this week, he was talking with Grant, and he was like, "Look, when you're playing Texas," he said, "I wouldn't pick Texas to win, but we're playing Texas now, and the game started, and I realized we can win this game. We're in positions to actually play with this team." Once the clock starts and you're out there on the field and they give you a window, all your belief actually comes in, like, hold on, we can do this. And so he went into the game thinking Texas was going to win. He left the game pissed because we didn't capitalize and win on what we want. So
against Brian Oaklawn, it's Williams, the tight end, in motion. Again, good protection, and he throws it complete. That's Williams. 45-50. 45, and is going to be tackled at the left tackle. And remember, before we saw how he came backwards in his set. Now he almost fires out to Arakpo. That's a really nice adjustment on technique, not necessarily strategy, but they told Dominguez, don't sit back and wait. Of course.
Speaking of DJ, before we get in further into the breakdown, guys, DJ's met with Oaklawn. He's over there with Zach from Oaklawn, and he's going to give you your best picks, your best bets this weekend for this weekend's games. You guys check this out with DJ and Zach.
All right, welcome in. I'm here with Zach Gillum at Oaklawn Sports. And once again, Zach, interesting game week. Who knows what happens in college football? We're taking a look at Arkansas right now. We haven't even talked about it this week yet, but Arkansas going into this one, the favorite, and people are already kind of like, I don't know, this La Tech team is kind of legit. So as far as the betting world is concerned, what are the bettors thinking about this game? What's the spread look like for Arkansas against Louisiana Tech?
Yeah, looking at the spread, Arkansas is definitely a substantial favorite. A little over 3 touchdowns currently, minus 21.5. That's Arkansas. Wow. I know we're all cheering for it, get that 6th win, become bowl eligible. And then we do have some other markets on the board currently, like the first quarter. Arkansas right now minus 6.5 for the first quarter. If you're looking for the first half, they are minus 11.5 for the first half. Mm-hmm. And then the total for the game, that has just been moving around a bit. It is now at 48.5.
Wow, 48.5. So that's going to be your over-under. Surprisingly, I thought about this too. I think, man, Arkansas, I feel like will at least score 40. But then I think about, will our defense shut them out? So that's going to be an interesting one. People do your research on La Tech when it comes to that. So it's also senior day, so expect them to show up and show out.
Well, and to your point on the 40 points, right now the team total for Arkansas posted at 34.5. So if you think they can get to that 40, I feel
good about that. That's a little sneak peek into something new we're going to add here in 4th and 5. I think that's going to be my leg of the parlay. I feel good about that one. I might as well lock that in right now. All right, let's talk a little basketball. You said line's not out yet, but what can people maybe expect to see when it comes to that?
Yeah, so Razorbacks taking on University of Arkansas Little Rock. That's Friday night. Line's not quite hit the board, but I do expect it to hit the board Thursday evening. And I expect that one to be double-digit, not quite 20, but I do expect to see pretty big favorite on the Razorbacks in that one.
Yeah, so once again, I want to remind all our viewers, we record this, we pre-recorded, and right now is Thursday, so maybe here in a couple hours or so, the line will be posted. So for people watching this Friday, the line should probably already be up, so y'all have fun with that one. We talked a little football, talked a little basketball. I want to talk about something that I have slowly become a huge fan of, horse racing already coming back to Oaklawn.
Yes, you can see in the backdrop here, very excited. We are, as of the time this airs, we are 2 weeks away from the first live day of racing for this season. That is December 6th. Got to be a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. In fact, I'm about to head over to Little Rock right now and go to the kickoff banquet. So
nice.
I'm looking forward to it. Things are really rolling. Everybody at Oaklawn's really excited. There's a lot that goes into it. I know the fans that have been coming for many years, or even fans, maybe this is your first season, you're going to be blown away. You're going to have a lot of fun. There's so many things to enjoy about coming to the track.
I'm pumped up about it. Doesn't matter which weekend it is. It's always a great weekend out at Oaklawn. Zach, obviously, as we're getting closer to the end of the football season, playoffs are starting to become a thing. You got these bowl games. You got conference championships. So many things to pay attention to. If people are into the betting aspect of it, how can they go about getting the Oaklawn Sports Betting app?
Yeah, so the Oaklawn Sports app is available in the iOS App Store, the Google Play Store. If you like to use desktop, it's available on that as well. You'll just have to install a little plugin. So it's available pretty much any device you want to use as long as it's current. Very easy to get to, free to sign up. And then we have a great offer right now for new customers, up to $1,000 in bonus bets. And the way that works is after your first deposit, you're automatically enrolled in that promotion. No promo code is needed. And for your first 10 days, you're going to be able to earn up to $100 in bonus bets. So 10 times 100 equals 1,000, up to 1,000 in bonus bets potential.
Zach making it easy. Zach, I appreciate you. And once again, what did you say that line was for Arkansas on point total? 30.
Currently 34.5.
God, they got to get that, right? Oh, if they don't get it, it's going to be a rough day. All right.
Yeah.
Zach, I appreciate you as always. And y'all stay tuned for Saturday morning before the game. We're going to have a nice little special 4th and 5 new addition to the show. So make sure y'all stay tuned with that involving our friends at Oaklawn. All right. I appreciate you. And we're going to go ahead and send things back to Josh and finish up the Getting Defensive with Matt Harris.
All right, Matt, look, man, I just downloaded the Oaklawn app, so I'm getting ready to lose some money because apparently I make the worst picks in college football. We were actually talking about putting together a 4th and 5 parlay every week, so I think we might be surprising everybody with that, and it should possibly maybe end up being on the app where you guys can just click and pick the 4th and 5 parlay and make money all day. That's the plan. But yeah, appreciate DJ getting together with Zach on that. Let's get back into the breakdown because I know we have another good but not great play that you were talking about.
There you go, man. So here we are, second quarter, 7-0 still, right? Defense is still playing good. 1st and 10, 11 personnel. But look where everyone is. You got the tight end to the boundary, and then you got you got 3 receivers in the field with your running back on that same side. So you got your 4 receiver rules. Everyone's passing somebody off. Backside safety, backside linebacker. As soon as the ball is snapped, your eyes are going to that 3 side. With that being said, instantly you get some motion, right? Again, teams run motion to just break your rules right before the snap. So the 3 receiver now turns to the 2 receiver. But that's okay because we have the 3 deep receivers, which Metcalf's back there. He's a vet. He knows what he's doing. What they're doing is they want to get this motion man into a wheel route to confuse the corner, let the corner run vertical with the now who's number 2. He was his number 1. That's exactly what happens. Corner's a little late to go behind the wheel route, which I think is his responsibility. But 1-8 was there to make a great play. Or I'm sorry, a good play. A great play is you go catch that ball and you give the ball to the offense with beginning the second quarter. But nonetheless, there's 3 things that can happen in a pass play is they can catch it and score a touchdown, you can knock it down, or you can pick it. So 2 of the 3 things benefit the defense, and at least Metcalf ran over there, got off his hash, had his head on a swivel, and make a play. So that was a really good play. But again, to beat Texas, you got to make that. You got to turn it into a pick.
What's the difference? What's the difference between a guy who can go and make that play and intercept it versus a guy who's just wanting to go up with one hand? I mean, is that something you practice? Is that just instinctual? What's there? What does he need to improve on?
Josh, that's a great question because that Florida game in the swamp my senior year still haunts me as the first series that they were driving down, and Tebow looks back my way, throws a ball, crossing route in the end zone, and I go and I try to one-hand pick it, and I just couldn't get it. But it was 3rd down, I knocked it down. They ended up getting a field goal. I think they missed the field goal, so we got a lot of momentum. We played good from the first series, kind of like we did-ish here, but they scored a touchdown, so I digress. But plays like that, when you're coming off the hash, you are thinking, don't let this guy catch it. I got to hit him. At the last second, you're like, oh, I can maybe pick this. It comes down to practice and getting really comfortable with ball skills. Me at Arkansas, just being transparent, and not to throw the coaches under the bus, but we didn't practice these types of ball skills, not as a safety. It's really hard coming off the hash. We would on air, Josh, we would backpedal, we'd turn our hips, and then they'd throw it and we'd run and we'd just catch a nice little float. You can't rep game speed, right? So there are certain players that are just destined to be All-American first-round draft picks. They got it whether they practice it or not. Then you got guys like me and maybe Metcalf where they need to rep those things because in the game, it's hard when a Ryan Mallett or a Quinn Ewers is just humming that thing in there versus your scout team quarterback. So practice, perfect practice, a perfect rep at that. When I was with the Browns for the very little amount of time that I was there, we had no wasted reps. We used to
Mm-hmm.
run stuff just like this because they would say, hey, when you're in that deep third and you're coming off a hash, your angle is going to be like this. So we're going to
Right.
rep a play like this for your ball skills. And it was,
Mm-hmm.
and my mind was blown. I was like, man, I wish we ran reps like that in college.
Right.
But there's more kids. It's their scout team. There's, moms that want to meet with the AD still, not calling anybody out.
Right.
I'm saying, it's still kind
So
of, it's
true.
not, yeah.
It's so true, though.
But you know
It's
what I
the
mean? So,
worst when your mom wants to come meet with the athletic
oh,
director, the head coach. The absolute worst. Well, I'm not naming
yeah,
names either, but
we're
just
not
so you
naming it.
guys know, there were some moms out there that wanted to meet with them. That is
Yeah.
for sure.
Go on.
They don't
And then
play
with
around.
Frank Broyles, man, I'd
Yeah.
be terrified. Like, hey, can I get some time with you, Frank? I'm like, it's
Right.
athletic director Broyles to you.
Right.
But all that being said, ball skills have to be practiced. Like, I had great ball skills, but when I got to Arkansas, I didn't get to rep it. And then Bobby turned me into a robot where it was 2 yards off the left man line of scrimmage, and it was 12 yards deep, and you had your inside foot up, and you take a step, and you look at your read step on the outside man, then you look at the hi-hat read, and then you'd go into your back. Like,
Right.
that's not kidding. Like, it's still beat into me, like how many robotic moves that you had, and guys like Ed Reed, right? Safeties that are very instinctual. Uh, they don't lose those ball skills, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a shame when good players get put into a box and they're not allowed to go out and make a play. I bet you Metcalf made that play 10 times in high school.
Mm-hmm.
But here in the SEC, it's just a different rep. So it's practice, Josh. It's what my dream job is I
Mm-hmm.
want to coach corners or defensive backs, but like I want to coach this rep right here.
Right.
Because
Mm-hmm.
this is what changes the game. This is where my
Right.
dad was like, Matt, like in the Super Bowl, in playoff games, in big time games, we're playing the Giants, division rivals, like somebody always made a play.
Mm-hmm.
And great teams are competing against each other. My dad used to say before every play, the play is coming my way and I'm going to make it. If Charlie makes that play, I'm going to be pissed off. If freaking Mitchell makes that play and not me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be pissed. I want the ball
Mm-hmm.
coming to me. And that mindset, Josh, now you're anticipating the play coming to you. And when it comes to you, you're like, I'm going to freaking make it. So it's a mindset that these guys got to carry. And if they don't have that confidence with them, it's hard. You get confidence through practice. You get confidence through making plays in game.
Right.
But this was a good play. Again, our defense, this is great game film to watch because it's losing game film. So you're not just in there jacking around. But we played a tight game. And so it's like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
guys, you played really well. And I love you guys. That's what I hope the D coordinator says. But let's sit down and see how we can get better. And this is a
Right.
play where hopefully they go out to practice and they get him off the hash. And instead of going backpedaling, catching like a deep pop up,
Mm-hmm.
make him go downhill, just like he's doing here. Because now that the force is so different when you're catching a football, coming down at it, everyone, oh, defensive backs can't catch. Well, it's different than when the receiver is running smoothly with the quarterback and he puts it right where it needs to be. The
Mm-hmm.
defensive back is coming this way and
Right.
he's trying to catch the ball with it coming that it's a completely different feel and spin and angle. And so, you have to practice them. You have
Mm-hmm.
to practice that. Otherwise, it's unlikely you'll make it in the game. So,
Yeah.
but how much time
Well,
do you have to practice?
Travis Williams has done a really good job as defensive coordinator. I made a video
Yeah.
earlier this week that was talking about, the coaching situation and everybody, as you know, Arkansas Razorback fans do. We want to immediately go into like,
Yeah.
fire this
Clean
coach
house.
and move on,
Yeah.
clean house, that kind of thing. And my argument was that, number one, I'd like to see Bobby Petrino have more than 12 months to install his offense and get some guys to mature in it for a minute, right? Because that
Yeah.
changes things. When quarterbacks know exactly what pre-snap reads to make and check downs and adjustments at
Yeah.
the line of scrimmage for recognizing blitzes, all of a sudden our offense looks a lot more poised next year. Now, I'm not
Sure.
saying that that's necessarily going to happen because who knows? Taylor Green could leave. It's the portal, right? But I
Yeah.
just would like to see him have more than 12 months. But I'm only saying that because I made a comment about our defense being poised to actually be better next year. And somebody said,
Yeah.
"What are you talking about? Our defense is one of the worst in the SEC." Like statistically, I looked it up. I think they were like 11th. However, as Matt always says, football is a dance, and there's two people, and there's the offense and there's the defense, and things have to parlay together in order to have success. So this defense has played a top 5 team in Tennessee and put them to bed. This defense has held Texas to the least amount of yards that they've had, other than I think playing Georgia, right? So this defense has showed up in big moments in big games. Yes, I get the statistics, but I'm telling you right now, what he's been able to do with the defense in the moments that he's had, if he fine tunes us a little bit more, and we have an offense that can keep the defense off the field and allow the defense to, I don't know, maybe like get a break and not have to have so much pressure on them. All of a sudden, that 11th ranked defense takes a big step forward. So I don't think it's entirely fair to just judge them on yards allowed when there's been a lot of games that we haven't been able to. It's either been the offense has showed up or the defense has showed up. It's been very rare that we've had both at the exact same game. And when we do have that, we're talented enough to win games. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that. I already know it, but I said that about the defense because here we are on a good play, and then this next play. We're at 3rd and 2, third quarter, 10 minutes left. 3rd and 2, down in distance. Yeah. And you've taught me, don't look for something deep down the field. They just need 2 yards. So what are they going to try to do here? How the heck do we blow this play? How do we blow this?
So this is a blown assignment by our linebacker, Sorry, number 10. The safeties got tight ends, man-to-man on the tight ends, and the wide receivers have man-to-man on the widest man. So they try to get a running back out there and they motion him back in. So now safeties are in there in the box. So that's what happens, Josh. But this is what Sarkisian must have picked up on is motion. Because when you motion that running back, because right now Sorry's thinking, I don't have a man-to-man responsibility. That running back goes back in the box. Now guess what? Right? So in the snap of the ball, your eyes have to be extremely disciplined. And you can tell it's man-to-man because no one has any switch rules, meaning look at number 1, look at Clark fight over the top to follow his man. Clark is not supposed to make this play. He makes this play only because he was trying to cover that
drag route. Yeah.
That drag route coming underneath. So you'll look at it from the end zone copy. You'll see one safety go to the deep center, the deep third. So this is a zone. This is cover 3 man. And no one with no switch rules because it's 3rd and 2. You switch on 3rd and 2, the guys are going to sit down in the zone and they're going to easily get that 2nd yard. So again, good play call. And then you can see 10, Sorry, gets stuck in no man's land. And he tries to jump to knock the ball down versus getting the running back who runs right by him. On the ESPN, they circle the safety as if he's supposed to get the running back. That's incorrect. You can see 2 safeties right there. One's going into the deep third and the other one's covering the tight end. Linebackers get running backs, safeties gets tight end. That's the rules always.
So before that running back motions back into the backfield, the safety actually is on him. But once he goes into the backfield, that now becomes Sorry's responsibility?
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
Absolutely. So that's a great point, Josh. So you see, look at that. This is a great play. So he's out there on the running back right now as man-to-man because it's an empty set. So now what happens? He runs back into the backfield and he says, hey, check. I'm going into the deep third now. I'm going to go in the deep third. You're going down on the tight end. You see the 2 safeties start talking to each other?
Right. Yep.
Hey, check. Everybody looks over. The defense just got changed. Now they're thinking it's a run play. So when the reason why safeties are man-to-man on tight ends and linebackers are man-to-man on running backs, why do you think that is? Because if it's a run play, guess where linebackers are going?
Right.
To the running back. If it's a run play, guess where the safeties are going? To the tight end who was blocking for the running back. So you always get momentum. It's like it's like an automatic blitz. But if it turns into a play, oh shoot, now I got my tight end. Just like Worth does, just like everybody's doing. So Sorry missed the call. I can tell you what he wasn't supposed to do. He wasn't supposed to half-ass rush and half-ass jump at the ball and let the guy run by.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Well, I mean, look, I will say that I watched this play. What a great play by Texas, though.
Yep.
Putting your running back out there at the numbers, motioning him in, forcing the defense to make a check. Sorry clearly doesn't get the message. and then it's like, oh crap, what do I do now? Let me swat the ball down. Um, Fantastic play call by them. Confused
Yep.
me.
Josh, I wasn't the biggest, fastest, strongest. I was big enough, I was fast enough, and I was strong enough to be a 2-year starter in the SEC because of this reason. I
Hmm.
knew what offenses were trying to do. I
Right.
knew how our defensive philosophy plugged into those gaps. Whenever I saw motion, whenever I saw the 4 receivers to the side, whenever I saw tight ends gathered right here with 3 receivers over here, I'm like, okay, like it just made sense to me. I was a very instinctual player,
But
and
how do you recruit that, man? How do you recruit that or develop that? What's the
I
sauce?
don't,
Because there's a lot of guys out here who are athletic, but this,
yeah,
I mean, again, this play happens fast, right? But
yeah,
that's the point. We're going to confuse
yeah,
one of
right,
them.
right,
And how do
right.
you get to that level of defense to where your guys are here? They're boom, quick. You can
No.
shift, you can motion, you can trick, but we are all in sync. We all understand our rules, and we understand what rules change when these guys motion. How do you recruit it, or how do you develop it?
Yeah, Josh, we kind of talked about this. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. A lot of high school players that are 5-star All-Americans, they run man to man for four
Hmm.
years. They don't
Right.
even run a zone. They
Right.
don't. They just blitz. They get to do whatever they want in their high school because they're the man, homie. When they get
Right.
to college and they have fire zones and they have scrape rules, they have peel rules, they have spill rules. I got the force. What's the force, coach? I just tackle people. Like there's
Right.
literally guys in the locker room that just
Right.
see ball, get ball.
Right.
And when you have see ball, get ball guys, they may have been some of the best recruits in the country, but they're not collegiate playbook ready. And this here in the SEC, this is a little NFL.
Hmm.
I have an NFL playbook and I have a Arkansas playbook, and they're
Hmm.
eerily similar.
Hmm.
There's more plays in the NFL, but it's because you know what the NFL does? Every time there's a motion, there's an adjustment, and everybody
Hmm.
knows the adjustment. And if you can't make the adjustment, you don't play in the NFL.
Right. You
Um,
get cut. You get cut
yeah,
quick when you can't keep up.
you
Yeah.
get cut quick. And so in college, it's still kind of political, You do have guys that you try and recruit every year to beat out, or you have this transfer portal now, Josh, and recruiting would be really fun. I never got to do any recruiting when I was at Texas Tech. I coached a year out there. So I mean, I've played at the collegiate level and coached there and reached it as a player. And so I mean, I know a thing or two about what these guys on the field are thinking and who they are. And we recruited some of these guys at Tech and, big time program. Um, and you could just tell, I'm just like, man, this guy's not going to learn a playbook.
Hmm.
Uh, we were talking about that one American that we had on our team. I'm not going to name any names.
Right.
He was one of the
Yeah.
worst players I've ever seen in my
Yeah.
life
Yeah.
because he came out of a small town Arkansas. He ran a
Hmm.
4.3 and he could beat up on lesser opponents. You get
Right.
too many of those guys in the locker room, your team starts to feel it. So it can be coached, but it is coached over a long period of time. I had my whole life being
Hmm.
like, Matt, this is how you do this. This is how you run. This is how you knock down their arms when their eyes get big and light up. Stick your hand where their eyes are because the ball's coming there. I mean, don't
Right.
swat. If you can pick it, great. And then attack. Like, I just have all this trained and beat into me. And good coaches know how to communicate that to players.
Yeah.
And you can't chew them out all the time, but you've got to coach them. Like that last play, Sorry in no man's land, that was a huge third down, and it was
Hmm.
really an elementary play. They're going to do it again here on this next play, Josh, where Texas runs motion. It's an empty set, and then they run them back into the backfield just to see
Hmm.
what they're going to do, just to see if the
Hmm.
defense gets switched up at all. This, though, actually was a good play. We're in our 3-2-6, but we're bringing pressure from a linebacker on that right side. You can see that the linebacker and defensive end, our boy 4-0,
Hmm.
does a little flip, switch, little Texas twist, if you want to call it that. And they're about to get there, and then that left guard comes out of nowhere and protects him, and Ewers is about to get sacked, and he's tackled, and he's got to scramble, and he's throwing up. Like, that's what that court, like the anxiety that I just created, that's what's going
Right.
through a quarterback's head. That's what you want.
Right.
You want that
Right.
guy thinking like this. And
Hmm.
defensive line, tip of the cap, man. I don't know how many sacks we had. They played their tails off. right? We were talking about this earlier. The macro view of complementary football is the offense scores points and the defense stops people scoring points.
Right.
Great. But the micro view of a defense is your defensive line has to play great in order for your linebackers to play great. And your linebackers have to play really, really good in order for your defensive backs to play good. If you got people running through the defensive line and linebackers, and you're expecting a safety to make the play on an open field dude doing 40 miles an hour, 10 yards away from you, slight
Right.
chance. Okay, that ain't gonna happen. So this was a good example, Josh. Arguably a great example because our defensive backs is 3rd and 12. Look at the score. It's 13-7, dude.
I know.
3 minutes left in the third quarter. We're playing football. Ain't nobody in the country turned this game off because it was a
Right.
great game. And our defense plays like this. Our defensive line got after their ass. And that's where it starts. I can tell you right now, I've said it 100 times. A defensive back's best friend is a defensive end or a good defensive line. They force throws like this, and then good breakup by Worth there at the very end, and there you go, 3rd and 12, and now you go get to talk bad to him a little bit, let him know about it. So
Right. And you see Coach T. Will here getting pumped up. He's excited.
Yeah.
The stadium, I mean, I was at the game. The stadium was excited. Everybody was excited. But our offense just kept going out there and laying an egg. And so, that's the end of the third quarter. Stopped
Yeah.
them, 4th and 12. They punt. But
Yeah.
we didn't do much. I think we went down and got 3 after that. But even when we got 3, there was moments where Taylor Green just missed a wide open Andrew Armstrong in the end zone on that post route. He had a little bit of pressure, I think, when he let that ball go. But those are the plays, again, that good, great. What do you want to be? The great plays, the great players. You got to make that play. Is that our last play? Is that the last play we're going to go over in the
that's the
Arkansas
last
game?
play. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, hey, I loved it. Defense, job well done. Play like that the rest of the season, you'll win out.
Yeah.
Honestly.
No, 100%. We've just got to fine tune some things on offense, because if we would have parlayed that with a nice
Offensive
offense,
line.
yeah,
Lord.
absolutely. Well, let's look forward, because Texas is over. We can't go back. Obviously, you can't go back in time and correct this stuff and then play them again. It is what it is. Losing to them, it's crazy, because it's like I thought that we expected to lose to them, and we did lose, but then now everybody's calling for jobs after we lose a game that we were expected to lose, right? So kind of blew my mind.
Don't call for jobs yet.
Right. Yeah, exactly. There's still life to live here on this team.
Yeah.
I remember a preseason where there was a lot of people saying we were a 4-win team. Here we are, have the opportunity to be a 7-win team or 8-win team potentially if we go to a bowl game. So that changes things quite a bit.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to stand on what I've been saying. I want Bobby to have more than 12 months with this team, because when you replace an entire offense, it's basically like you just brought in a new coach anyways, because you're replacing an offense. You're replacing an install. You've got to come in and install everything. It's just the way it is, even defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator. So let's stop talking about the Pittman conversation. I just want to talk about letting Petrino have more than 12 months to turn this team around offensively. We've already seen an improvement with this team. So, but let's talk about La Tech, because what we don't need to do is go down there or have them come here and fumble the bag. We need to keep pursuing the rest of this season and build on what can happen for next season. And I know you had a chance to look at some La Tech tape. What did you think?
Yeah, man. If you think the coaches are on hot seats now, go ahead and mess around and lose to a 3-6 La Tech team in Fayetteville.
Right.
At that point, I can't ignore the hey, let these guys go, cheers.
Right.
We are Arkansas, and we know who we are. We get to strike every 4 years, 3 or 4 years. We get a big time recruit. We ride the wave. Let's go play football. This year is a decent year for us. If we end up with a 6-7 win team, go win 8 games with the bowl game. I mean, we fired Houston Nutt. Not like I'm salty or anything, but we fired Houston Nutt after going to the Cotton Bowl.
Right.
To the Cotton Bowl.
I know.
And then what happens? He goes to Ole Miss and he embarrasses us. He goes to the Cotton Bowl, beats the brakes off of the best Texas Tech team in history. So, be careful just hiring and firing coaches repetitively. I know Pittman's been there a while, but we did shake things up with Bobby. So I agree with you. I'd like to see, multiple years with coordinators, terminologies, playbooks, really zoning in. That's where Bobby got hit. in his second year, third year was Sugar Bowl. We
Right.
missed a bowl by a field goal
Mm-hmm.
his first year, and then we were Liberty Bowl and then Sugar Bowl. I mean,
Right.
third year is when everything kind of melts together. But
Right. And I
uh,
don't see why people see that any different with with him running your offense. I mean, that's what's on the field, right? Like Pittman
yeah,
is much more of uh, a GM
yeah,
than he is anything else. If you're not the offensive coordinator or the defensive coordinator, you're much more of you're a head coach, but you're much more of a GM at this point, right?
yeah.
And so let's dive into some of this La Tech film because I
Okay.
wanna know what you think, and you don't have to break anything down too heavily, but
Yeah,
just give me
yeah.
some key points.
Yeah, key points, man. It looks like they got a good wideout in 16. He's a playmaker for him. He's their head guy. He's almost 1,000 yards right now. Really interesting. Their quarterback is a freshman, and so freshman quarterbacks, what I've experienced is they're still gunslingers. They're not jaded yet by the college game. So I would be shocked if he doesn't go out there and maybe get scared and pee down his leg a little bit, but then also throw a deep ball and see if he can't
Right.
shock the world. Because heck, what do I got to lose, right? It's nice
Right.
being the underdog. Um, they run a lot of 11 personnel. They put a tight end in there. You can see that they do max pro on some pass plays to give that quarterback, that freshman, some extra time. So don't be surprised if they're only doing, two-man routes. And that's what that quarterback's looking for. He's not looking for first, second, third reads. He's looking for first read, dump, or run it. I don't know about his legs very much. I didn't see him scramble, but it looks like they can throw the ball around the yard. They are 3-6 and ranked in the middle. They just got beat by Jacksonville State, so I don't think we'll
Right.
have any problems with them, Josh.
Right.
Let's just say we should not have any problems with them.
We should not. Defensively, though, what do you want to see from the defense to really be able to just shut these guys out quick? Because that's what if you want to see us come off of the loss, go into this La Tech game, and at the end of the first quarter, you want it to be 14-0 or 21-0. You want to go down and have a few drives and have success. But what does the defense need to do to keep the offense on the field?
Yeah, man, I would say win on third down. Always. Third down's a money down. Win on third down. I'd like to see some turnovers, but I'd like to just see consistency. I'd like to see the team that showed up versus Tennessee. I'd like to see that defense that showed up last week versus Texas. If you start
Right.
playing down to La Tech and you make it a fourth quarter game, that's an indicator of what team and what locker room you are, right? You're supposed to beat teams accordingly. And we played up to Texas's level. I don't want to play down to La Tech's level. I want to make sure we go out there and we make a statement. If we can shut them out, great. But I haven't seen the spreads or anything. I'll have to check my Oaklawn app.
That's right. Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, for real, we need to just take care of business and not play down to their level. And the battle of the trenches on this one needs to display their dominance,
Right.
getting their confidence first, and let everybody else just pile on.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming on this week. Listen, we're going to be doing DJ's wanting us to get us together and do some fun stuff with Oaklawn this week. So hopefully we'll be dropping a video pre-game Saturday morning. So you guys look out for that. I'm going to cross my fingers on it. If DJ gets up early enough and gets his cup of coffee to get the video up, then I think we can do it. Matt, I appreciate you doing this. Commercial Air, thank you guys for sponsoring. One of the best sponsors in the game. And Ortho Arkansas is always presenting sponsor. Thank you guys too. Matt, I'll hopefully be checking up with you tomorrow with DJ, getting
Yes.
that video shot to drop on Saturday morning. And man, good to talk to you. Look forward to seeing you soon.